Hey everybody, my name's Andy, and in this video I want to talk about the newly unveiled Battlefield 2042. You can see the reveal trailer playing in the background, but I'm not going to do a breakdown as I'm sure you've already seen plenty of videos on that. Instead, I'm going to share my thoughts on some reveal info from the Battlefield website, plus break down and give my impressions of the gameplay trailer. If you're only interested in what I have to say about the gameplay reveal, you can skip ahead by clicking the timestamp in the video description. But to kick things off, I have to congratulate DICE on the reveal of this game, and the overwhelmingly positive reception from players. It's been great to see, and I'm also extremely happy that we are moving away from historical conflicts and returning to a modern setting. That's where Battlefield shines in my opinion, and with no historical boundaries, DICE can add all kinds of interesting weapons, gadgets, vehicles, etc. I'm also happy that they settled on Battlefield 2042 as the game title, instead of just Battlefield, because that was the rumor up until the reveal. But anyway, in terms of the reveal trailer itself, the highlight for me was obviously the penguins. I mean, the guy who did the Rendezvous. That was pretty awesome, and if we watch it again, I think it indicated to us that vehicle entry and exit animations are gone or sped up significantly. Be it one or the other, I just hope it's the case, so we can get the sandbox feel back in Battlefield, enabling us to make all kinds of shenanigans again. We also saw a tornado rip through one of the maps in the trailer, and I believe that's a Levolution event, so that makes a return in Battlefield 2042. I hope it's not gonna occur that often, otherwise it could be quite annoying, although it does introduce some interesting gameplay opportunities. Now, let's talk maps, because there's gonna be 7 of them at launch, which I'm fine with actually, but I totally get if players think it's not enough. We just have to keep in mind that these maps will be bigger than ever, with up to 128 players, so I'm pretty sure there's gonna be plenty of variety. In terms of the increased player count, I'm excited to play with 128 players, but I'm also a little worried about the netcode and server performance. However, on PS4 and Xbox One, the maps will probably be scaled down to cater to 64 players, so they should expect a nice and smooth gameplay experience. Regardless if they'll be scaled down or not, I think every map looks gorgeous, and if you haven't seen them all by now, I'll show them as we go along. Because I love infantry and urban combat, I think I'm most excited for Kaleidoscope, which is the map that's heavily featured in the reveal trailer. I've seen players compare to Siege of Shanghai from Battlefield 4, and while that's true, I actually feel more like a downtown vibe with this one. If you're a Battlefield Hardline player, you will know what I talk about, but for the rest of you guys, here's a screenshot of the downtown map. Putting the maps side by side, you can see the similarities, albeit the difference in scale, but both maps offer zipline gameplay between skyscrapers. That will surely make for some epic only in Battlefield moments, and I can't wait until I get to play the map for myself. Speaking of which, a technical playtest is planned for July with a limited number of Battlefield veterans who get to test the game and provide feedback. It's probably a long shot, but it would be so cool to be a part of, even if it means that I can't talk about it because it's gonna be under NDA. When it comes to specialists, there's actually a lot I want to talk about, but I'm not gonna do it in this video, as it will drag out too much. Instead, I'll be making a separate video on it, because I have some concerns, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you don't want to miss it. Until then, I'll just say that they all look nice and distinct, with Casper being the standout for me. In terms of the lack of a single-player campaign and Battle Royale mode for Battlefield 2042, I think DICE made a bold decision. However, I've already seen people disregard the game because of it, so it could become a problem for DICE, especially due to the game's $60 price tag. Personally, I can do without a campaign, because the last time I played one was in Battlefield Hardline, but that one was pretty underrated, I think. What about Battle Royale then? Well, I had fun when Battlefield 5 Firestorm launched, but because it was struggling, support was sadly cut short. So I understand if DICE want to try something new, although I'm still a bit surprised considering Battle Royales are still dominating the market today. We can just hope that Hazard Zone and the quote-unquote love letter from DICE LA turn out so well that we will never long for a Firestorm 2.0. Regardless, I think Battlefield 2042 needs a great start, but to achieve that, it might take reducing the price or discounting the game after launch. That's all for the reveal, so let's now turn our attention to the gameplay trailer, because I'm sure we can all agree that gameplay is king. There's a lot to highlight in this one, so let's dive straight in. Okay, so we start out with Stone Mountain 64 commanding his squad like he usually does on the battlefield. Just have a listen.
Attention all squads! The Russian troops are falling back. Do whatever you can to secure the sectors.
I'm obviously kidding, because I don't know if that's him, although it does sound like him, but anyway. In this first shot we get a nice view of the Hourglass map and its huge scope, but what's more interesting to me is all the new HUD elements. DICE has apparently gone back to a Battlefield 3 style HUD with the ticket count placed above the minimap and the health bar placed on the right side. That's great to see, because I wasn't a fan of the HUD in BF1 and BF5, where the HUD elements were more divided instead of kept together like we see here. The squad size apparently remains unchanged from Battlefield 5, as it continues with a cap of 4 players. I honestly would have preferred 5-man squads, but I guess it makes more sense with 4, as 4 multiplied by 32 equals 128, meaning a full server can have 32 full squads. Lastly, if we look at the ammo count to the right, then there seems to be quite a lot of it, so could this mean no more attrition? I really hope so, because it was poorly implemented in Battlefield 5, and it also got more watered down in the end, so DICE should just scrap it. Next, we find ourselves in a helicopter, and notice on the right side of the HUD, the ammo refills on its own, and there's also the infinite ammo symbol. That most certainly means there'll be no attrition for vehicles in this game, which is awesome to see, because it ruined the vehicle gameplay in BF5. Moving on, here we get a first look at Specialist Webster McKay as he channels his inner Spider-Man with his grapple gun to swing on top of the crane. We haven't had a gadget like that since Battlefield Hardline, so it's very cool that DICE decided to bring it back in Battlefield 2042. Looking to the right of the HUD, we can also see the grapple gun has unlimited ammo as it recharges after use. Next up, it looks like a sandstorm is about to engulf the Hourglass map, and judging by its size, it looks absolutely massive in comparison. In this clip, a tank is parachuting down from the sky, thanks to the new vehicle call-in system, which players can request with an in-game tablet. We don't see the tablet in action, but I think any vehicle can be called in anywhere on the map, so hopefully it alleviates traversing these huge maps. Now this shot is interesting, because we can see at the top of the screen the C1 objective is being contested, but it also shows by how many players. That's a welcome addition, as there were times in previous games where it was hard to know exactly how many players were occupying an objective. What's C1 then? That's a conquest objective, but new to Battlefield 2042 is sectors with multiple objectives that need control of to secure the sector. If we look down onto the minimap, we can see the sectors A through E, and if they all have several objectives within them, it's gonna be action-packed. For reference, here's an example of how a map could look like in Battlefield 2042 with its sectors and capture points, but let's continue. Here we get a brief clip of a turret firing from a vehicle, and the HUD reveals it can overheat, plus it also has infinite ammo, so be gone attrition. In this next shot we get a glimpse of Delta, who's an unknown specialist at this point, but later in the trailer we may find out his unique specialty. Now the tornado from the Kaleidoscope map is here, and if a sandstorm wasn't enough, players may also face a tornado, which is gonna be pretty insane. As the player tries to escape the tornado, we see a new sprint mechanic, mimicking the tactical sprinting of Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019. Next, Sundance makes an appearance, and I think it's a female specialist, although it's currently unknown, but we may find out its specialty later on. Just a few seconds later, we get our first look at what DICE call the plus menu, which is where players can change up their weapons on the fly. It's a very cool feature, which I was first introduced to in Homefront: The Revolution, and since then I've been wondering why so few games have it. Now it's in Battlefield 2042, and while I'm sure it'll be a great addition to the game, I don't think it should replace traditional gun customization. I still want the option to customize my weapons from the deploy screen, but I also hope the plus menu can be customized with our favorite attachments. Next up, we find a squad is about to capture a contested objective, but if we move forward just a bit, we don't get to see when they actually take it. That's kind of a bummer if I'm honest, because I would have liked to see if any messages or ribbons would pop up and perhaps obstruct the objective icon. I want to know because it was the case in BF1 and BF5, which was a main complaint of mine, but I hope it's fixed, including ribbons, because I want them back. Now on to the best part of the gameplay trailer, Jeep stuff, which is when you place C4 on vehicles and detonate it once you drive into enemy vehicles. It's a very cool moment, just like the Rendersuk scene from the reveal trailer, and once again it may confirm that vehicle animations are no more. Here we get to see some nice zipline action between skyscrapers, which is obviously pulled straight out of Battlefield Hardline, so thumbs up for that. Next, we see the player aiming down sights with the weapon, and by doing so the HUD reveals a couple of interesting UI elements. First up, a compass appears at the bottom, and while that's definitely neat to have for voice comms and such, I think it should be active at all times. Likewise, the firing mode that appears to the right should stay active, because you don't always engage in ADS, and it's always active in the old games. In this next clip, a squad member goes down, and the revive icon appears on top of him, which basically confirms that body reviving is back, so GG DICE. Moving forward just a little bit, we see the player using the new tactical sprint mode again, but this time equipped with the primary weapon. Then the player jumps off the skyscraper and shortly after activates a wingsuit, and as mentioned earlier, this may be the unique specialty of Sundance. When the wingsuit is activated, the player view also transitions into third person, but I hope we get to toggle between first and third person view. Now check this crazy clip of Specialist Maria Falk where she shields herself from the tornado, and notice how it messes with the HUD, which looks cool. We can also see the crosshairs are active, which could indicate that you can actually hipfire while in these frantic situations. This next shot reveals a new two-handed parachuting mode, which looks very similar to 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so maybe it works the same. As the trailer is wrapping up, we see the player is about to jump off the mountainside on the breakaway map, just like on Dammervan Peak from BF3. Then we move on to the discarded map and meet Casper, who's the final specialist we are shown in this trailer, and the minimap has him on the RU side. Here's Maria Falk back in action, but I want to focus on the guy to her left, because that's Delta, and he has a riot shield, which might be his specialty. Maria Falk isn't done yet, however, because here she's equipped with her specialty, the stim pistol, which can heal and revive teammates from a distance. Judging by the HUD, it's limited to 6 shots, which is good, otherwise you could just spam heals and revives, but I wonder if it recharges when empty. Finally, we find ourselves on the orbital map, with the giant rocket about to take off, and then the trailer ends with a bang and the Battlefield logo. That's everything, and that was quite the mouthful, so I don't blame you for leaving early, but I applaud you if you stuck with me until the very end. Just to wrap up, I think both trailers gave us a good idea of what to expect from Battlefield 2042, although I would have liked to see some more gunplay. I guess we'll have to wait until EA Play Live for that one, but that won't be long now, as July 22nd is just around the corner, so that's very exciting. However, I want to hear what you guys think, so tell me if you're excited for Battlefield 2042, or if you are more apprehensive about it. Share your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed the video, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to catch my future content. Also, check out my giveaway and social media in the video description. But until next time, my name is Andy. Thank you for watching and take care, guys.